The one thing when I did buy it that I thought was funny was they did make me take out a life insurance policy that equaled the loan, just because there's not enough product in my store that would pay off the loan. And since it's all knowledge-based, they're like, if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, we can't recoup.
You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie, and today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Shannan Bogle, owner of the UPS store in Madison, Wisconsin. So Shannan, how is it going today?
Thank you. Very good. Thanks.
I'm excited to learn a few things from you. Thing one is, how do you end up in the shipping business?
Well, I started out I was a bartender.
Oh, seems like an easy transition, right?
No, yeah. Bartending at night is a great job. Bartending during the day, not so much.
Oh, just from a financial point of view, or just
yes.
Really crazy drunks come in?
No, you can't make any. You don't make money during the day that you do at night.
All right.
So then, luckily, I was working at a bar on Odana Road, and a former coworker came in and said, "Oh, go talk to John up at the UPS store on Odana Road." And I went and talked to him and started there, and the rest is history.
You ended up buying the business?
Yeah.
Wow. So you went from bartender?
I started out, and I started out on the counter.
All right.
Yeah.
As an employee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And learned a lot from him, and he was a great teacher. And he made me a manager, and then I expressed interest in wanting to buy it. So we had a contract, and about 4 years into the contract, I felt comfortable enough with the selling price. Somebody came in, and he was shipping out, I'm a nosy person. He came in, he was shipping out a small business application. So I asked if I could go have coffee with him. He was a small business. He, went to banks and got you the loans.
All right.
And he said, yeah, everything looks good. Let's go forward.
Oh. So, okay, that brings up way more questions than I even realized. It's so funny. I've known you for a few years, and I never knew your story.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you went from bartender to working at a UPS store, I mean, that's different clientele, it's different feel, bartending, usually think of as fun.
Yeah.
And maybe UPS store is fun, I don't know.
It is. The UPS store, you never do the same thing twice.
Okay.
And that's what I loved about it, was you were always doing something different, whether, somebody was walking in to have you bind a book for them, and then the next person was having you fax for them, and the next person, an Amazon return. So the variety of it is what caught me. Because one thing I love, you'll notice, I love to talk.
That's good, we're on a podcast, yeah. It's all good.
So as a bartender, I could always talk to people. But the one thing from being, and that's why I tell people that's the environment I came from, is because I speak so loud. Nice. And it's because you speak over the jukebox. Well, you get some customers that don't want you speaking that loud to them. They think you're yelling at them. And it's like, no, that's just me. And luckily my coworkers are very good about saying, hey, she really does talk that loud all the time.
Dial it back, Shannan.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So how long ago did you buy the UPS store then?
It'll be 8 years on Saturday.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me, as far as price goes, how did he figure out what he was going to charge, and how did you figure out that seemed like a good deal?
It's a very successful store.
Okay.
He was, of course, at the beginning of the contract, it was way too high. But, he was a smart businessman who had set these prices to say, hey, here's the top end. And then I just went with kind of the middle.
All right.
Obviously.
All right. And did the banker person that you talked to, they looked at financials and they're like, yeah, this is good, go ahead? All right.
Oh, yeah. And then they, the one thing when I did buy it that I thought was funny was they did make me take out a life insurance policy that equaled the loan, just because there's not enough product in my store that would pay off the loan. And since it's all knowledge-based, they're like, if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, we can't recoup.
Sure. So tangible assets, they need something. Okay.
Yeah.
Or life insurance policy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I found that very interesting.
All right. So when you bought the business, the day that you give him the check or the bank gives him the check or whatever, does he go away?
Yes.
Or do you stick? He does.
He actually had moved to Florida because he had made me the manager, but he was still in Madison. And I said, you have to go to Florida. I have to sink or swim.
Oh, smart woman.
Because, and then that was how I figured out I wanted it too, is not having somebody to lean on, because when he was there, I always could turn to him with questions. It's like, no, go away, go far away so that I can figure out if I really needed to ask you the question or if I already knew the answer.
That is smart. You know, it's funny you say that because I try to go away or just not be available to my employees sometimes just to give them the opportunity to solve problems or to just figure it out.
Exactly.
Because if they start relying on you, then they'll ask you, like, how am I supposed to exhale? Oh, okay, right? Like, I ain't got the time. So tell me, you've had the UPS store for almost 8 years. You've owned it for almost 8 years?
Yes, I've been there 26 years.
Holy cow.
Yes.
Same store?
Yes.
Same location?
Yep, same place, yep.
All right, so tell me, over the course of 26 years, what has changed in that neighborhood that
Oh,
you've
it's
seen?
huge.
Growing?
Huge change. No.
No? Okay.
No. Unfortunately, the pandemic, like a lot of, wiped out a lot of small businesses, because that's what I bragged about, was the fact that the area I'm in, it's all small business owners. So, I was doing a lot of their printing and their, stuff for them, the mailings and that kind of thing. Well, and then the pandemic hit. Well, people realized I don't need to maybe rent a space, an office, because I can work out of my house.
Okay.
So.
I remember, actually, it was just yesterday. I was listening to a podcast talking about different property types for investments. And this was probably I'm going to call it the 10th video podcast, whatever that I listened to. And none of them were saying that office space was a good investment.
Right. I actually had a box holder that approached me, which I thought was a good idea, because what they were trying to push was co-working spaces. Mm-hmm. So then he was trying to get me to maybe invest with him to say, hey, let's open an area, on the west side, because there's so much vacancy that we can go into a co-working space. I didn't think that was a great idea, because
all right.
A lot of people, if you haven't noticed, or if you've noticed, unfortunately, the businesses that have been really hurt. Mm-hmm. One of them always is just because it's in front of me, is maybe a dry cleaner.
Right?
Because you don't have the work clothes anymore. Look at your wardrobe now.
Yeah.
You don't need that necessarily.
People don't even have to wash pants anymore, right? We got Zoom. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure your shirt's clean.
Yeah. Tell me, let's talk about, when we're talking about the different things that you do, a typical UPS store has a ton of services and products and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So because I don't know all of them, can you just give me just the Cliff's Notes version of all that you offer? If you remember.
Oh, yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
We have printing.
All right.
Which is a wide thing, because we can do from postcards down to up to big size posters and banners.
So banners, business cards, brochures, etc.
Anything.
Slap some ink on it, we can do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything we can print. Mailboxes. We rent mailboxes, which a lot of people don't understand. It used to be, because you don't want a P.O. box. Mm-hmm. You want to look like a legitimate business. You're using a street address. That's the benefit. And then the other, and when a customer is going to Google it, then it's going to come up as a business location. So it makes you more reputable.
Nice.
When you're starting your business.
Okay.
We do faxing. Faxing became more prevalent again during the pandemic again.
Really?
Because because on the internet you always hear about people getting hacked and problems. Faxing is stupid.
Nobody's hacking phone lines.
No. So, because a lot of people, unfortunately, were sending in their social security number to the Department of Workforce Development to get unemployment. We went way up in faxing.
So,
people don't have those anymore.
So somebody comes to you with a sheet of paper, and they're like, hey, I need this faxed over to somebody else. And you take that piece of paper, you shove it through the fax machine, you dial the number. It makes the cruelest sounds in the world.
Makes the sounds that we used to have when we first got internet.
Yeah, the dial-up modem sound.
Yeah.
Who knows what sound that is, but anyways, that's still a thing. Common.
Yeah.
Just to help me understand this, ballpark, how many fax pages are you sending through in a day?
About 8.
8 pages a day.
Yeah.
of faxing. That blows my mind.
It used to be a lot more, but now it's, but it's still there. Because
I would think anything more than 0 seems weird to me.
yeah,
But,
because we can also scan and email, which
Okay.
I would think people would rather have done.
Sure.
And we do that all day too.
all right. All right, so we got that. We got the printing. We got the mailboxes. We got the faxing. What else you got?
Scanning.
Scanning, all right.
Scanning, okay. Returns, of course.
The Amazon returns.
Well, Amazon, Happy, TikTok. There's a lot of there's a lot of different
Suddenly
companies.
I feel old. What is a TikTok return? 'Cause
Well, TikTok, the platform
Yeah,
TikTok,
yeah, oh, yeah.
They have a store on there. So people will buy items from the TikTok, and then if they need to return them, they come in and we do it.
Huh. I have to admit that I'm not on TikTok.
Me neither.
So I don't even know there was a store.
I didn't either until we started doing it, and then I had to ask people
Yeah.
because once again, I like to talk and I'm
Sure.
a nosy person.
What are you doing?
I said, what is this?
What are they buying off of TikTok?
Clothes, mostly
Okay.
clothing.
Got it. Okay. That's probably why I'm not there.
And I think it's mostly, like influencers and stuff. That's how they make their money, of course.
Sure.
Is when your everyday person buys the product that they're promoting.
Interesting. Okay. All right. And then Happy? What is Happy?
Happy is a bunch of retailers, like the higher end ones. They use Happy Returns as their return processing.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're just a Happy Bar, or it's called Happy Return Bar.
All right. So tell me, just really quick, let's run down this rabbit hole a little bit. Does a UPS franchise, UPS store tell you that you have to accept these returns?
Yes.
Okay.
UPS store franchise is a franchise. Okay, so we all answer to corporate. Well, their job is to go out and find us corporate accounts
Got
and
it.
keep us prevalent to people. And that's why they've went, my franchisors located in California, they went to the leader of Amazon and said, hey, we have 5,000 locations. Why don't we be a return location for you?
Got it. All right.
Because their theory is most people are in the proximity of a UPS store.
Yeah.
So then they can go easily scan the code,
Boom.
boom.
All right. Very
To
cool.
us, it's great benefit because we picked up the people walking in the door. Because
right.
marketing to get an individual customer costs a lot. We all know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And then they have done that for free because now people that would have never gone to a UPS store now are having to come through the door, and hopefully they're getting me because I'm talkative, or they're seeing the posters around saying, "Hey, I do notary, I do shredding, I do all this different stuff that you wouldn't think about. You'd think only shipping." And so I'm hoping that then they go out to lunch with their neighbor, and the neighbor says, "Hey, I need a notary," and the woman says, or the woman or man says, "Hey, I had to return something at the UPS store, and I saw that they do it."
All right.
And that's what our goal is just, to increase your customer count, obviously.
Sure. Fair. So we got returns on there. The list, you also mentioned shredding. So somebody comes to you with a big pile of all their tax documents from years past, and they say, shred this.
And that's interesting because that's what we're promoting right now because obviously tax season is April.
Yeah, here we are.
Yep.
Here we are.
And so I'll see people once a year because it's like, okay, I can get rid of all this now.
All right. Interesting.
But yeah.
And then you mentioned something else in there, but I missed it. I don't know. You just keep going down the list.
Notary probably.
Notary. Okay. Tell me, what does it take to be a notary?
You have to be 18 years of age.
Okay.
Not be a felon.
Big prerequisites. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Log
you
in
just
here.
basically the state of Wisconsin wants their money. So you
Okay.
buy the stamper, you do the application, you send them money, and then they approve you or disapprove you.
All right.
And then you get a 4-year commission, and then every 4 years you go through the same process.
Okay.
But what's nice is, when their lobbies were closed, people didn't know, what do you do? And so many people they now bank on the internet. They don't have a local branch that they can go in and,
Right.
and banks don't want to do a notary for somebody who's not a member of their institution. So they
Interesting.
can come to us because we don't care.
Nice. There you go. Yeah. All right. And what else do you have on that list?
God, we do so much. It's like, okay, what?
Shipping's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. UPS store, you're like, hey, we ship stuff, whatever.
We ship.
Tell me.
But that's a pretty, everyone thinks UPS store and they think shipping, UPS, shipping.
Yeah.
And that's why I always do everything else, because I assume in my name is the shipping.
Fair. Okay. How about, I'm just going to guess here, laminating?
Yep.
All right. How about, boy, what else do we have here? Well, let's talk about post office stuff. Do you do any United States post office stuff? Okay. So you can ship or mail,
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
Sell stamps?
Yep.
All right. How about selling boxes or shipping supplies and all
Yep.
that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. And we're in UPS stores. The reason we push packing is we are known for pack and ship guarantee, which means if the stores pack it, the way we're trained, it's a guaranteed claim to be paid.
All right.
Because so many people will come in with their used boxes,
Yeah.
and it's packed fine. Okay. But the first thing an insurance company is going to do is deny a claim. They never want to pay. So they're going to say, hey, it's used cardboard. That right there it's null and void.
Oh.
Yep. And a lot of people, because you don't read the fine print maybe on the UPS site about packing, it has got to be brand new corrugated cardboard.
Okay.
Reason is the shipping environment nowadays, it's not a person. So they're not deliberately trying to damage a package. But it is going in a conveyor belt system with millions of other packages. Well, you know, stuff happens.
Yeah, I always think of Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura delivering that package when he's doing his cartwheel on it, getting it stuck in the elevator door.
Yeah.
So anytime I pack stuff, I think, what would Jim Carrey do with this? I got to be prepared for that. And I can also tell you from experience that I have receiving packages, so we send out computers and stuff like that to employees. When that employee goes away, typically we want them to send their equipment back. And sometimes I think, I know why we got rid of you as an employee. Because the way that you pack this thing, either they hate me, which is possible, or they just don't understand that gravity is a thing. Because I'll see that they put the stuff in, and then they'll put packing on top of it, but they'll put like old magazines or newspapers or something like that, something that the weight of the thing that's on the bottom, if that box were to ever shift, is going to completely crush what you use, like this insignificant thing that you're using for packing, which at the time is filling space, so it looks fine.
What we do is, because we also at the store, we can send the packages to people that are in the same kind of situation, which we do a lot of, is, you know, somebody will come in and say, hey, I got an ex-employee, I need them to send me the computer. I have a printed out sheet that I add in there about how to pack it.
Oh.
Because a lot of people, they will put it right on the bottom, and then they'll put the old newspapers on top, and it's like, no, make sure it's in the middle of the box. Everything is solid, it's not moving, and it'll be fine in the system.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, normally the machines we get sometimes are so full of cat hair. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's so gross. I don't want to.
Yeah. The ones I hate are the people that you can tell maybe they smoked in their house.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because I have had that, and I didn't know these employees smoked.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had cats. I didn't know, but you get that computer back, you learn a lot about someone just in opening that box.
And then you're like, gee, I don't want to see their house.
No, no.
Because it's like, oh.
I didn't know you read Us Magazine. What's wrong with you? Right. All this kind of stuff. It's interesting. So tell me about, well, shipping. Do you offer FedEx or Speedy or anything else, or is it just
We
UPS?
used to.
You used to, okay.
Yes. And then, because I really liked the DHL company.
Oh.
Because DHL is international shipping.
Yeah.
And so that's all they did. So I find that when, you know, they were really good. So then what they did was they opened a store next to a UPS store in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
So corporate came down on them. And I stand behind my fellow franchisees, you know, obviously franchisees. But I was disappointed we lost DHL because the closest one now is in Milwaukee, because they have to be near an international airport, international port.
Okay.
So that's why I made it more convenient for everybody to be able to go into a UPS store and do their DHL shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So UPS store is different than UPS to shipping, is that
Yes,
correct?
that is
Separate,
correct.
essentially separate companies.
what we used to be is mailboxes, et cetera.
Okay.
And we're still the same concept, and that's the problem. We don't like necessarily the name, because people connect us right away with UPS. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, we want to stand apart. And that's why we really liked the mailboxes, et cetera, name. And when we were mailboxes, et cetera, we did do FedEx.
Got it.
And, you know, because like I said, every company has their strengths.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked FedEx for the fact that FedEx Air didn't have any packing standards because it was hand carried and they were more gentle on their items.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that. All right.
So, yeah, and because FedEx Ground and FedEx Air are two different companies.
Oh, I found that out the hard way.
Yeah, you do. Whenever you send something ground, and then if you have to do a claim, you find out it's not part of the family.
Oh my gosh. It's a long story that really has not much to do with what we're talking about, other than FedEx, I guess, has 3 different companies or something like that. There's domestic and ground, world, something like that. And I had a package issue. I don't even remember if it was sending or receiving, but I do remember that I was running around and I was like, you know what? FedEx Madison is right by the DMV. And I joked with the guy saying, I don't think I've ever actually preferred to go to the DMV than what I'm doing right now. And he kind of laughed and was like, sorry. So whatever it was, I think I just tried over. Either shipping or receiving, whatever it was.
Well, the nice thing, too, with when you go, the difference between the FedEx stores and the UPS stores, FedEx is owned by FedEx. Mm-hmm. So the owner isn't necessarily in the store. When you walk into a UPS store, the reason you're greeted so nicely is the owner's usually sitting in back.
All right.
Watching on a camera to make sure their employee is good at customer service.
Nice.
Yeah, because I can train anything.
Okay.
I can't train customer service.
No. Oh my gosh.
No.
I've tried. I've tried so hard.
I know. You can't teach that.
No. It's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the gamut of what you guys do, all that jazz. Let's go into some of the specific stuff as far as, I'm going to dig into this business a little bit if you don't mind.
No.
So the money-making end, are you making more money on shipping or selling packing tape or the mailbox
Selling packing
thing?
tape.
Selling packing tape.
Yep.
So in a perfect world,
because-
everybody'd walk through that store and buy 10 rolls of packing tape.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And it sounds weird, but the
Well.
reason we have their shield. Now, as UPS sets our shipping rates, so our percentage isn't as high for the shipping part.
Okay.
Because UPS obviously wants to keep it low.
All right.
Mailboxing, well, I can set my own pricing there.
Okay.
So that being said, that's why that's a more moneymaker for me, is the printing. I can do a better profit margin.
Okay.
The shipping tape, I can do a better retail margin
All right.
on that kind of thing, and that's why that's a better profit maker than the shipping. Not to get you anything wrong, I do like to ship.
Yeah.
And that's why I'll start with air,
Okay.
because I have a better profit margin in air than I do in ground.
Really?
So yes. So
All right.
I'll ask you, I'll say, when do you need the package to get there?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you that guaranteed date
All right.
and the price. And then you're going to look at me like, no, that's too
I
expensive.
didn't say I wanted to buy a car. I just want to ship a
Exactly.
package.
And so then I'll say, well, we do have a ground option. We always have a ground option. It's such and such, but that's not a guaranteed date.
All right.
And most people are okay. All right, that's fine.
All right. So does UPS says, like, hey, if you're going to ship this bottle of soda, it's going to be X dollars. And it's going to be X dollars regardless of what store I'm going to, presuming that the distance and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
We remove those variables. UPS says it's this. Just like if I was going to buy a lawnmower and I look on 50 different websites.
Like, west side of Madison, this is $12. It's going to be the same if you walk into the east side of Madison.
Interesting. Okay.
It's going to be $12. But we're going to charge different packing prices.
Okay. All right.
Because like I said, because the individual owner sets all their pricing.
All right.
So we have a store in Stoughton, okay? The Stoughton gentleman isn't going to charge as much for a stamp as I can because of the location.
All right.
And obviously Stoughton isn't going to, support over pricing.
Sure. Interesting. Yeah, I guess
And I don't, it's not to say I overprice, but, I'm delicate to the area I'm in is how I can set my pricing.
No, I always used to joke with people that were in the smaller towns when I was doing work fixing printers and stuff like that your stuff, a lot of the stuff that you pay for, is often, depending upon which direction you're coming from, either more expensive or cheaper. More expensive sometimes if we have to come to you because you're farther out. Cheaper if you're there because your rent is half of what we have to pay for rent for our office building or whatever, or retail space in the city versus in a suburb.
Right.
That's the game. So
Yeah.
pick your poison, I guess. It's
Very
never
much so.
as easy as you want it to be or as simple as you want it to be, or
No.
cheap. Tell me about, I want to go down the road of employees. So employees are always a good time. We always have fun talking about employees on Authentic Business Adventures here. So tell me, you have a retail store, which means you need to have employees open to close. And are you open 7 days a week?
Nope,
days a
6.
week? 6 days a week. Okay.
2026, I have to open 7 days. When I sign my new franchise agreement, the new franchise agreement
Oh,
requires us being, and it's all based on,
Amazon returns.
yes, thank you.
All right.
You said it, I didn't.
It was a
Yes.
guess. I don't know.
They want the convenience of being open, 7 days a week.
Okay.
So,
So help me out though. From a dollar standpoint, I'm just going to dig in this. You don't have to give me exact dollar amounts, but the amount of people, I don't know what you get paid when somebody drops off a UPS drop-off thing. To add a day, you're talking, do you have 2 people on at a time, or could you get away with 1?
I do 2 people just because of security reasons.
Okay, so we're talking.
Because I feel I would rather pay to have an extra person there than the stigma of it being if something happens to somebody.
Sure, fair, totally fair. So you're going to be open, 8 hours on a Sunday, something like that?
No, I have to be open 5
5 hours.
because I tried to
Okay.
get it lower.
All right. So that means 10 hours of payroll. 10 hours of payroll and all the burden that comes with that, burden rate, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, electricity.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. But on the flip side, the building's there anyways. The building's paid for, rent is paid for, right? It's not like you get a discount because you're not open 6
Right.
days a week. So there's numbers that have to be crunched. Probably won't come on your favor, but you never know.
Well, this would be the first year that I didn't open. See, usually I'll open Sundays in December.
Oh, for Christmas time stuff.
Yes, because
Okay.
we are so busy. So I kind of know what a Sunday would produce. And trust me, a Sunday, it would be worth it to be open on Sunday.
It would.
I just feel that, and right now, because it is so, right now I'm staffed up good.
Okay.
But, not, in the past I wasn't. So I
Okay.
was working open to close.
You were working.
Yes.
Okay. On your own business.
Yeah.
Get all
And
the
then
freedom you
I was
want.
like, at least on Sundays I could answer the door, I could answer my phone. I didn't have to worry.
There's a little bit of elbow room.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I was liking the fact that, we weren't open Sundays. But
All right. So tell me, do you have a manager or managers, something like that you could rely on for something like that?
my son.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, but he went back to school to UW Whitewater. I'm very proud of him.
All right.
For cybersecurity, because that's where we're going in the future.
That's headed that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the poor kid, it's his decision.
All right. Fair. Okay. So does that mean you have to end up finding another manager?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Always good fun. I have all this
yeah.
trust that I need to essentially sell or give to an employee.
Oh, it's I find myself I'm too hands-on, and just like the previous, I take after him and the previous owner. Get out of here.
All right. Give him
like you said,
give
yeah.
him the reins, have the freedom.
Yep,
All
yep,
right.
and and just be in the background, and so you can fix things. But you got to let them go out on their own and do it.
Sure. Tell me about hiring employees as a franchisor, or your franchisee, I should say. Does the UPS Store corporate govern how or
No.
who or
No,
or what
not
you
at all.
ask? I don't know.
Because the different states have different laws.
Oh, do they
So
ever?
yeah, so they couldn't control anything. You know what I mean? Because here in Wisconsin, for example, we're a right-to-work state,
Yep.
which means, and I love that, because then it's just like, if there's going to be too much to learn, you can just look at me and say, hey, this is not going to work. But I can do the same. And then we don't have to worry about reprisal as far as unemployment, that kind of thing, where some states, if they hire a person, they can just go on unemployment on them.
Yeah. Got it.
So that's what
Okay.
I like. But yeah, so they don't have any restrictions, normal ones that you have. You can't, because you do have high value items. So,
Right.
So maybe you can't have certain people working, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Part of my application, can you lift 50 pounds? It's
Fair.
not going to be a continuous thing. But somebody may bring in a heavy item,
Sure.
a generator.
Mm-hmm.
Can you lift that? I've got tools and I've got, carts and stuff to work with, but you got to be able to physically lift that. You have to be over 5'5", because you have to be able to make a box. So you have to be able to, things that you don't think about, you have to be tall enough that you can reach the top of a piece of cardboard and make a box out of it.
Interesting. I never even thought about the height thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And does UPS Store, do you have to go through payroll with them, or can you do your own payroll?
I do my own.
Okay. I don't know. It's interesting talking to people that are part of a franchise to learn what their franchise has, I'm going to say, helped or shackled them with, depending upon perspective. And others, whatever freedoms that they give you.
And what was really interesting was when you were talking about, you're paying rent in a small town versus now our corporate will help you out with your lease.
Oh.
They do have, it's all a matter of what you need too. See, I've been in this for so long that, hey, I can figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
But, maybe a new owner needs a lot more help, they're going to get it.
Okay. So a new owner can say, hey, here's the lease. I haven't signed yet.
Oh, no,
Can
and
you
they have a
guys
whole
look at
legal
it?
department that will go through it, and then they'll talk to, because perfect example during the pandemic is a lot of people had asked for reduced rents.
Mm-hmm.
So our corporate sent out, a notice saying, hey, if you need help, we're happy to help you if you need to talk to your landlord.
Okay.
So,
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool. How has it been, I guess presuming that the franchisor aren't listening, how has it been being a franchisee? It's been good, bad, mediocre, indifferent?
Indifferent.
Indifferent, okay. Do you know, I guess, I don't know if you know people or
A
not.
lot of things have changed, and
Oh.
I'm not maybe happy about them. We used to be, the biggest thing I have a problem with is the fact that they give a better discount. UPS gives a better discount to a company called Pirate Ship Sticks, that kind of thing, than they do the UPS stores, but they saddle us with the name and the shield.
Oh.
But if people go online, they can get a better price.
Oh, interesting.
That has always been my biggest, I'm just mad about it. I just get mad about it because it's like, why should, if I represent
Yeah.
them,
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to give the lowest price then.
Right.
Why should the customer then, because then you're just making the customer mad.
Right. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. What is their reasoning? Do they have reasoning?
Oh, they just want everybody.
Oh, okay.
They want to get all the shipping that they can.
All right.
So there's going to, so.
So when UPS has, I want to say that they had some layoffs. UPS, not UPS shipping, UPS store company.
No, UPS company.
But UPS shipping has had some layoffs.
They did, what was that, 120,000?
It was a big nut. Yeah.
Yeah. And they laid them off, and that because a lot of people don't understand, they had the contract come up this summer. So a lot of people were thinking, oh, you poor stores, and I'd have people come in and comment to me, and they're like, oh, how does that affect you? It didn't.
Okay, that's the question.
Not at all.
Okay.
It won't affect me at all. UPS, because of the bottom line, and that's why I like being a franchise, is because, you know what? If we lose money for a quarter, I'm not answering to anybody.
Right. Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out how to recoup it. UPS was losing money, and that's why they laid all these people off.
All right. Was it drivers, or who were they laying off?
I think there was a variety of things.
Just
Because I know a lot
trimming.
of your older drivers, once they signed the new contract, they're retiring now.
Oh.
Because they can get a good payout and they're on their way, because just like everything else evolving, UPS is becoming more automatic shipping. Or more automated.
Okay.
And that's why the personal touch isn't there anymore.
Okay. So tell me, let's dig into more I want to dig into more of the employee stuff. As far as the market, we're in Madison, Wisconsin. Tough market, or at least it was. I don't necessarily know if it is still. You'll have to help me with that. Hiring employees or just finding employees.
I can't find employees
Cannot.
because
Okay.
what they want is, because if you turn on your radio or anything, it's all about money.
Yeah.
And I have the Culvers right next to me that says, hey, we're hiring at $19 an hour. People don't read the fine print.
Okay.
And they don't go in and see, oh, well, you got to do third shift and you got to be a manager and you're not going to make the $19 for 4 years.
Sure. Okay.
But them advertising that, then people are coming to me and they're saying, hey, you got to hire me at least $20 an hour. And I'm like, hey, can't.
Yeah. There's the door.
Yeah. So that's why I was maybe open to close, because it was like, you know what? No, I'm going to keep that money because I can't afford to pay people
Yeah.
the $20 an hour. Now it's coming back down. Now it's starting to be more reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's when the pool will open up again to be like, hey.
Now people are more practical. They understand their skill set, their value to a company. This is what they can offer.
Well, and what I wonder too is how people are paying their bills. Because, it used to be, when I was young, and I hate to even say this because, I'm not that old.
Back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just
It's
whittle wood together here.
I know they still got a car payment. They still got rent. They still got, they talk about the price of groceries being so high. Where are they getting the money?
I don't have a good answer there.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I mean, it's either credit card or parents, I would assume. Because I guess the work ethic that I have or that I was raised with, where you earn your living, and you don't rely on anyone else. And the people I've talked to a lot of people that don't necessarily even understand that mindset. They're like, I don't really need this job because I'm 27 years old and my parents are still paying for my stuff. And from my point of view, I have too much pride to let somebody pay for that. And there's a lot of people that, screw pride, man. I got somebody else paying my bills, so I don't have to work. Or I can search out this all meaningful job, whatever. Anyways, doesn't matter. Let's dig into the other stuff. You said shipping supplies, good. Shipping, not as high a margin. Printing, do people still laminate? Is that a
Yes.
thing? Okay.
Yes.
Fake driver's licenses, or what do they laminate?
No. And what was funny was in the beginning of the pandemic when they told you to laminate your vaccination card.
Did they? Okay, I'm out of touch. All right.
Yeah. And so we had bought pouches for that size. It's like, but why? And all they've done is keep giving us shots.
Oh, funny. Okay.
So you have to keep updating that dumb thing.
Oh.
But yeah, we used to have, there used to be a bar downtown
Okay.
that would have us laminate, like 300 menus at a time. Because, college kids, unfortunately, not
sure.
the cleanest of kids.
All right. Or just kids. Yeah.
Yeah, because they could
universally,
just
yeah.
wipe it off then and give it to the next person.
All right. I never even thought about that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
And is there margin in that printing stuff?
Yes.
Okay. I have some friends that own print shops, not shipping stores, but print shops, and some stuff I think they do okay. I think where they lose is where they have a bunch of inventory of paper or just products waiting to be used that you hope it gets used before it gets old.
The nice thing too, the nice thing is there's not really a shelf life on my product.
Okay.
Like a restaurant or some place that has they have to keep renewing their stock.
Yeah.
Mine, it's cardboard, it's paper.
It'll hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Got it.
it's stuff that is going to be good 2 months from now,
Sure.
as it is today.
You don't have to worry about something until, I suppose, decades down the road. This
Right.
box is 50 years old. Maybe we should get a different one. Okay. Tell me about the mailbox thing. Is that more of a bring people in kind of thing? Or is that a service that you can make some money on? Is it?
Yes. It's a service you can make money on because there is no cost.
Okay.
I've made the initial cost of buying the mailbox set,
Okay.
the keys. I suppose, once in a while you have to rekey a lock.
Okay. Because somebody didn't return a key, something like
Right.
that. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, that's why I say the mailboxing is a better profit margin because there's no actual cost to it.
So
Except for paying the employee to put the mail away each day, but
okay.
they're there anyway.
Negligible. Okay. So in the case of the mailboxes, did the UPS store, because they bought or became from
No, they were
mailboxes, et cetera,
mailboxes, et cetera.
does UPS store say, hey, these are the mailboxes, or do you just get whatever mailbox you can find? Or?
No, they say here, these are the ones you have to have.
Got it. Okay. And do
then-
they limit it to a number or square footage?
Not
or?
necessarily.
Okay.
No, because each time you want to change something though, you do have to do a redesign fee through corporate.
A redesign fee. Okay, not just send the redesign, but there's a fee involved.
Oh yeah.
Sounds like government. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. So if you wanted to maybe necessarily add more mailboxes because you're doing a great business
Yeah.
with that, then they're going to step in and say, hey, we want to make sure your area is still, because as a franchise, they want you looking like everybody else.
Sure.
You know, just
Uniform?
like any front. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because somebody walking into a store in Boston, they want to walk into Wisconsin and look the same.
Fair. Totally fair. So mailboxes, I imagine people want to come and see those. They just come in during business hours to pick up their mail?
No,
or?
I have 24-hour access
Okay.
on mine. Some stores do, some stores don't.
Okay.
I have a retail gate that will drop down and close off the retail section. That's why the customers then will get the 24-hour access code, because I'm not open Sundays.
Okay.
So that way they have access, if they're a late nighter or a Sunday person that just wants to come in.
Yeah.
Because the door locks behind them. They come in. It's nicely lit. It's
All right. Sure.
a pleasant environment. They can check their mail and
Easy.
yeah.
All right. So a lot of times people, I imagine, are using this to have, or maybe all the time, to have a physical address, so they're not using their house or a PO box or something like that.
Right.
Do you find that a lot of people just don't get mail? They have their business address on their professional stuff,
yeah.
but just mail is.
Yeah,
not
because
as-
the emails are taken off. People
Okay.
get emails.
Yeah.
They don't get physical mail,
All right.
but they still need to have the address.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Okay. So you have, I don't know, 5,000 mailboxes, and your employee has to sort 5 letters, or maybe a Uline catalog or something.
Oh yeah. I just want the money. Whoever at Uline pays for the printing.
You got to get that contract, whatever that
telling ya,
is.
yeah.
I just had one of those, a Uline catalog delivered, just side tangent, right? I mean, you've probably seen 500 of these. I saw one, and it was the size
Of a phone book.
of my, it was, because it was curled up in our mailbox, I thought, it's a good thing we didn't get any other mail that day.
They're huge.
And then I thought, wait a second, we're multiplying this times how many businesses did they send this to? Surreal. Surreal. So, whatever, hopefully it's working for them. I take that back. I hope it's not, because I don't want those things. But at any rate, I hope their business is doing well. It's just
Oh, you know it is. Yeah.
kill the catalogs. Kill the
yeah.
catalogs.
Because see, with Uline, we're not allowed to order from them. They're not approved by corporate. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go,
Okay.
yes. Because to be approved by corporate, you have to pay them a percentage of what you do.
Let's pay corporate a percentage.
The companies do.
Okay.
So that's why Uline is not going to be approved by corporate ever, is because they're so successful, they don't need.
All right. Got it. Okay. So
We're not supposed to order from them, but I've heard of stores doing it.
So does that mean if you ship through the post office or something like that, the post office has to pay a nut to the UPS franchisor?
No,
Or?
because it is an individual store choosing to work with the post office.
Got
It's
it.
not a requirement.
Okay.
And so that's why it's only requirements that they charge.
Okay. Tell me about like the scale or the counter. Is that all UPS store
Yes.
mandated? Okay.
Yes. When you have, the software that we use, the computers, the hardware that we use, we have to purchase from corporate
Okay.
because it has to be approved by them. Basically, because then if we have a problem, we have a tech line we call,
Oh,
they're
gotcha.
supposed to be able to fix it because everybody's got the same model.
Okay.
So the people are trained on, okay, you have to have the NV Vision Flex for your computer. You have
Okay.
to have the Mettler Toledo scale.
All right.
You have to have, and it's just like, yeah, okay.
All right. All right. But it's not to the point of where you hear about some of these franchises like McDonald's or something that say you have to get everything through us, including your glass cleaner. And it's almost murderous.
Yeah.
Because they have to charge $50 for a bottle of glass cleaner or something
See, and
like
that's
that.
what I do like.
Okay. Got it.
Is they're not that beholden to us. We
All
can outsource, go to like a local Sam's Club for our paper,
Okay.
for our glass cleaner, for our, floor cleaner.
The everyday,
kind of thing,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
You have to buy a floor from them, which, is the laminate like this,
Yeah.
but I can outsource to how I'm going to clean it.
Got it.
They
Okay.
aren't requiring me to,
Get the UPS mop.
yes. There you go. Perfect. Yes.
All right. Tell me, there's, I don't know how many UPS stores there are around Madison area.
12.
So, is there really? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, it's very oversaturated.
Is there? Okay. I didn't see, man. I'm just learning stuff left and right here. So, how is the relationship that you have with the other UPS store owners? Do you see them? Do you see them at, I don't know, some UPS club?
It used to be a lot better.
Okay.
We're trying to make it so that we kind of all talk. We used to have a group, just
Okay.
like, all the business owner,
Yeah.
meetings. But we used to have so that the owners would get together and we could then bounce stuff off each other and be like, okay, what works for you? What works for me?
Sure.
Why don't we charge the same?
Makes sense.
And it used to be, but, as the stores now are changing ownership, and maybe you have younger people coming into the, but they don't want to meet with the older people because they think
Is that a lack of desire, or they just don't know how to talk to people?
I don't know.
Okay.
And that's why I'm like, I don't know. And maybe it might be the corporate just telling them, hey, this is what you need to do.
Okay.
And see, I'm an older store, so no, I don't have to do everything you say.
All right. How, if you push back like that, does the franchisor get upset, or they're just like, oh, you're good?
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
I was using, here's a perfect example.
Okay.
I was using a program that I bought, that I liked because it incorporated packing.
Software program.
Yes.
Okay.
UPS, it wasn't an approved product.
Okay.
They found out I was doing something wrong, and they sent security to my store to take me out to lunch to tell me they were closing my store if I didn't change.
Wow.
Immediately. And that's why I say there are certain things that they,
Over a software program.
yes,
Okay.
because, yeah.
And what was the big concern? That there was going to be some Russian hacker in this software program?
No,
Or
the software that I have to use, UPS Store Corporate gets 20 cents for each package I ship.
okay.
The other program, they weren't getting their revenue.
Oh, there it is.
So,
okay.
yeah, there it is right there. So it's all about the bottom line.
All right.
So, but in our packing, when we do our packing training from corporate, everything has to go into a bag, right? A poly bag. There's none in my store.
Okay.
Well, there is now because of Amazon, but
Okay.
because people would question me when they were going through the training. They're like, well, where's the poly bag we're supposed to use?
Oh.
You don't need to do that.
Okay. Because it's one more thing. It's a waste.
Well, it's a cost.
Yeah.
They don't supply anything,
Okay.
so you have to buy it, and you don't. It's unnecessary
Got it.
on my account.
Okay.
I have bubble wrap. I take care of items.
Yeah.
That's not a question.
Got it. I have seen,
But a sweater doesn't need to be in a bag.
I would hope not. I think if I were to pack something, if I had an extra sweater, I might use that as packing material.
I had somebody. This is funny. I had somebody come in and they were shipping to their college
Okay.
kid. They used real peanuts
What?
as packing because the college kid will eat anything. So instead
Huh.
of using styrofoam peanuts, they used real peanuts. So that's why I think that's funny because
Wow.
yeah, when you have different packing methods, and it was
All
just
I
like,
can
no, I have
imagine.
real peanuts in there, and I'm like, okay.
I can just imagine all the mice that ate on that box.
The worst claim I had to do was I had to call a customer because a raccoon had gotten into a UPS truck and eaten their package because they had sent, homemade bread.
Sure.
And so call a customer and say, I'm really sorry, but we have to pay a claim on your item because a raccoon ate it.
Wow. That's, and it feels silly just saying that. That's funny. I'm trying to think what other questions that I have for you. The place that you're at, you've been there 26 years? Mm-hmm. So tell me about traffic since pandemic and coming and going. Are people afraid to come to a store now, or are they fine?
No, and what I found, and then once again, we'll go back to why I'm so happy that we did get the Amazon contract. I like the traffic,
Okay.
and then people will choose a UPS store versus maybe a Kohl's. Because in Kohl's, you have to go into the store, you go to the back of the store. My Amazon thing is set up right
Yeah.
in the front window.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is you're walking in and you're walking out. You're not staying in a product.
Quick.
Yes. And I'm finding that that's what people want now. It's
Oh, yeah.
all automated.
Man, if they had drive-through drop-off or something like that, I suppose Amazon wants to keep it a little
That's
bit of a
funny
pain.
you say that, James. I was looking because in front of me,
Yeah.
the building in front of me, it has the Clinkies cleaners with a sliding door.
Okay.
So I reached out to the landlord to say, hey, you know, if this property ever becomes available,
Yeah.
I would like to talk to you because then I would have the drive-through.
Nice.
Because I did during the pandemic, what I did is I invested in having a pod set up so
Okay.
that people could just drive through.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's the game.
And the other owners laughed at me and they're like, yeah, why would you do that? Well, guess who got the most returns that year?
Funny.
So, yeah.
You know, whenever somebody says, hey, we should do this, and somebody counters with, we've always done it this way, I feel like that's the worst possible thing that they can say.
It is.
If that's the answer for your justification for doing or not doing something, you gotta look deeper at that.
You got to try things,
Yeah.
you know?
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Shannan, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
For the people that don't know, that may not necessarily be local or even maybe they're east side, Sun Prairie, right? Where is your UPS store located?
West side and by the West Town Mall on Odana Road.
Okay. Do you have an address?
6666 Odana Road.
Well, how do you forget that? Wow. All right. This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you could do us a huge favor, if you enjoyed this conversation, give it the big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with your entrepreneurial friends, especially those that may have some Amazon returns, need to ship something, mail something, receive mail, shred, print something. I'm probably missing something there. Buy some tape.
Laminate, notary.
Laminate, notary. My goodness. That's all the list here. My name is James Kateman, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Shannan Bogle, owner, queen of the UPS store in West Madison. If somebody wants to find you, what's the best way? Online.
Online, I have a website, UPS store.
All right.
0704.
0704. Sweet. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.